Welcome back to Aging is for Everyone. We are talking about immigration today, and I'm very happy to welcome Jennifer Rizzo, who is the Immigration Legal Services Director for Journeys and Refugee Services. Welcome, Jenny.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. Can you just talk a little bit about what's happening locally here in the Buffalo area with refugees who are coming into Buffalo and maybe how they're changing our area?
Sure. Refugees are really drastically changing Buffalo. I work at Journeys End, which is a resettlement agency. We're an agency that receives in an arriving refugee and provides them with services so they can transition their life here. Journeys End is actually one of 4 agencies in town, and so collectively, Buffalo is getting about 1,000 to 1,500 refugees a year coming in.
Wow, that's 1,000 new families, or that's wonderful.
Yeah, the face of Buffalo is really changing. The resettlement trend has been going up, and in the last decade, we've received over between 6,000 to 7,000 refugees to our city, and they're coming from all over the world. Africa, they're coming from Sudan, Eritrea, Congo. They're coming from Asia, from Burma, countries like Burma and Bhutan. The highest populations are coming in out of Iraq, Bhutan, and Burma right now.
Okay, and so what your agencies do, what the resettlement agencies do, is these people are, coming into the country and they're refugees. They have their status. They're allowed to come in, but then they suddenly hit Buffalo, and what do they do next?
Yeah, I mean, imagine what it must be like for somebody coming in as a refugee who was in most likely a refugee camp where they didn't have access to running water, where they didn't have a bed, where their food may have been limited, where they never had money. And they're coming in and they have to learn our whole system, understand how to use an ATM, how to shop at the store, how to use the bus, and what school is, like how to get kids to school. And so an agency like Journeys End is about providing them with what we call core resettlement services. We have a case manager assigned to every incoming family. We pick them up at the airport. We take them to an apartment we've set up for them, and we work and mentor them so that way they can learn and adapt to American life to make it a little bit easier, because it's hard enough.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. Now, where are most of the refugees? Are they located mostly in the city, or?
I would say predominantly west side, and there's a reason for that. There's available housing on the west side. It's a really diverse and booming area, and we really try, if we can, to set up a family near a similar community. So if we have a Nepali family coming in with five members, mom, dad, and 3 kids, we really try to make sure they're on the same street as another Nepali family, family from Bhutan that's ethnically Nepali, and that way they have somebody who speaks their language. So they're not always relying on their case manager to, answer every question. They can learn by following that person to the store and learning how to use the bus.
Right, that has to make a big difference for them.
Yes, there's a huge community network set up here for all of these various communities. There's a Congolese church for that population, and community center for the Burmese population, and you've also seen shops and eateries also grow up around these communities as well, as they start to really take root in Buffalo.
Right, and it seems like a lot of these refugees are eventually really making a difference in their community by, as you said, opening up shops and doing things for the other refugees.
Yes, I would really emphasize that refugees are making a positive economic impact. They certainly come in with federal dollars to support services like ours to get them started, but they are making a contribution by starting at businesses and certainly by buying homes. A lot of these communities on the west side are having homes being rehabilitated because refugee families, for the first time in their lives, get to buy a home.
Right.
And they're taking pride in that, and they're fixing up blocks that were atrophying.
Now, do most people come as a family unit? Does it seem like most of the folks that you get through Journeys End, it's a mom and dad and kids, or are there older folks who come along with them? Or?
We get everybody.
Yeah.
We get everybody, and part of that is because the U.S. is such a generous resettlement nation. Other nations take in refugees, other first world countries like Australia and England, but the U.S. is the least restrictive. We will take in elderly refugees. We will take in cases that have medical needs or disabilities, and we will take unaccompanied minors, children whose parents have died in a conflict or in the camp. And so we really are welcoming all populations, and we have services to support them in their transition.
Now, how far do you help people through the process? Is there like an end date where it's like, okay, you've graduated and now you move on, or do you help with job searches and things like that, or do you just provide the general initial resettlement?
Well, Journeys End does the initial resettlement, which there's federal funding for a limited period of time, unfortunately. But we have other services services that extend out for several years. We have an employment program where we train refugees with 4 vocational skills and get them placed in jobs. We have an education program where we have coaches, speakers from that culture that are placed in the schools to help the kids and the parents acclimate to school.
Okay.
And we also have a legal program, which is what I'm in charge of, and that is to help people throughout their entire journey from arrival until they become a U.S. citizen. And that includes services like green cards, citizenship, sponsorship of family members, employment authorization.
And we have some information about the program that you hold, giving people more information about coming in and getting information about green cards and things like that.
Yes, I really would welcome anybody in the community to come to our walk-in clinic. It is actually, I call it a civil legal walk-in clinic because it's for any legal issue. It doesn't just have to be immigration. What I find is that refugees and immigrants often come to me first, even with a question about a divorce or custody of their kids, because I'm the immigration attorney and they know that they can come to my agency and speak to me in their native language. We have 28 languages on staff at Journey's End, which is super diverse and really great for the population to be able to access us. So we have this clinic. It's run by volunteer lawyers and law students from the University of Buffalo, and it's on every Friday, and it's for you to come in and get a 15-minute consult so we can point you in the right direction.
Right. That's great. That's terrific because, I mean, like you said, people, where would they know how to go, who to go to for that information?
It's tough when you don't speak English to be able to pick up the phone and call an agency that may be able to help you if you can't communicate your problem. And sometimes clients don't even really know what their problem is, they just know they have a problem.
Right, right. Now, just real quickly, there's a lot of information coming out about immigration reform, and do you think that's going to affect what you're doing now, or is it too soon to tell how that's going to play out?
I'm bracing for a big impact because I do run this walk-in clinic, and so I'm open to the public, and I offer legal services to the low-income population. Right. The immigration reform that's being discussed right now is looking at a legalization of potentially 11 million illegal immigrants, or people who are unauthorized, who are either out of status because they overstayed their visa or because they entered illegally. While that's not the primary population I serve right now, I think I could trend towards serving that if those people start coming in with questions if the relief is passed.
Okay, so that could potentially make a huge difference in how much work you have, and hopefully maybe get you some funding for what you're doing too.
Certainly, I'm hopeful. What I really think is important is when any type of law change happens, that it's important to get information out there so that people aren't taken advantage of, that they're not victimized by people who are claiming to help them but they aren't actually lawyers. So I plan on doing some type of public information campaign if the laws do pass, and I certainly hope they do, because it would benefit a lot of people who are in a legal limbo right now.
Right, right. So again, if anybody has questions as far as if they're watching this and maybe they have some immigration questions, they can get in touch with Journey's End. If they know somebody who maybe needs some help and is kind of skirting underneath the radar, maybe they can get them in touch with you in your walk-in clinic as well.
Absolutely. We're here to help. We're open to the public, and we represent the low income, but we're open to any questions, anything we can do to try to point people in the right direction.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Jenny. We appreciate the information about Journey's End.
Thank you for having me.
We will be right back with more Aging is for Everyone.